I grew up in a physical world and I speak English. So do you. The next generation is growing up in a digital world and they speak social. This digital world is what you make of it in the end. Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to Amazon Internet Services presents the Economic Times Global Digital League 2.0 powered by Kindred. The Global Capability Center leverages emerging technologies and support the country's major digital transformation, bringing it to a reality, helping companies identifying emerging risk so it can be controlled on time and with the best efficiency. Over the past decade, we have witnessed some of the most successful and incredible innovation evolutions across the industry, putting the country at a spotlight platform. India being one of the most attractive locations from all over the world for its Global Capability Center GCCS, is mainly with the back of the country's knowledge-driven workforce, solid infrastructure and supportive government policies. India is home to over 1,750 global capability centers, which amounts to a massive 50% of all such centers globally. Domestically, GCCS employ over 1 million employees, generating a total economic value of around $28.3 billion. A key factor in India's front-running position in digital capabilities is that today, the country counts more than 4 million people in the workforce within the IT sector, and nearly one-fourth of them work in GCCS. With an increasing focus on digital transformation, over 50% of India-based GCCS are investing in emerging technologies, including analytics, cloud, robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things. Join the league to understand how GCCs can further leverage transformation to leap ahead in the coming years and hear from the leaders their thoughts and readiness on upcoming trends. And if you're here, I welcome you to an absolute learning. Now, before I proceed ahead, I want to quickly thank our partners. By all means, our presenting partner, Amazon Internet Services, co-powered by Kindred, innovation partner, Dell Technologies, platinum partner, NetApp and Reddington, gold partners, Commvault, Juniper Networks, along with exclusive networks, Fiserv, Checkpoint Software Technologies, our associate partners, Poly, Datamatics, and Jabra. And of course, our supporting associations with Commodity Participants Association of India, that's CPAI, and along with them, the Cyber Security Society of India. And of course, the National Accreditation Board of Hospitals, and that is NABH. Now, if you want to make this talk of town and share what you've learned and post things on social media, all you have to do is hashtag with ETGDL. I repeat that. That's hashtag ETGDL. And with that, let's get to know what is coming up for this session already. Well, starting the keynote address is going to be about the business continuity and resilience in the new normal. We all have seen what's happened over the last 20 months or so, and we continue to learn more from it. In the post-COVID era, the businesses, economy, health sectors, the wellness sectors of the entire world is affected. And you are a true example of experience. The drastic change is how we function has led businesses to adapt to completely a different approach towards businesses. With business opportunity and continuity, the organization maintaining the ability to perform basic and essential functions to risk management, innovating and operating. The corona pandemic has put the entire world into an unprecedented mega BCP. The earlier BCPs were planned at building, seismic zone or city level. But in post-corona, we'll see different level of BCP planning. Let's hear from the expert on changes in the way continuity will be planned. I'm very happy and delighted to welcome the GCC League with a very dynamic speaker, somebody who's seen it, somebody who's known it, and somebody who will continue to give you a lot to learn from. Let's see who is in. And let's welcome our first keynote speaker himself. Please welcome Gerd Hoefner, Senior Vice President and Head of Special Projects CTO at Siemens Healthineers with us this afternoon. Gerd, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Mitin, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad that I'm here and can address you guys. And the topic I will talk about the next 15 minutes is the business continuity and resilience in the new normal. Before we get into the details, let me talk a few minutes about Siemens Healthineers in India, who we are, so that you also have a little bit of background, what I'm talking about. And at Siemens Healthineers in India, on the left-hand side of the slide, you see some figures about our organization. We are a little bit more than 3,550 people or employees in India, out of which about 2,350 work in software R&D. And this is the organization in principle where I'll be talking about with respect to business continuity and resilience. We have about 56 sales offices across the country. We offer the complete portfolio of Siemens Healthineers, not only in India, but in South Asia. So that includes, besides India, also Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. And we have two factories, one in Gujarat, where we produce equipment for laboratory diagnostics, and one in Bangalore, where we produce modalities for diagnostics imaging, like a CT scanner and X-ray modalities. In India, we are the market leader in several of the businesses we are in, and more than 25,000 hospitals and diagnostic centers use our products. We have more than 2,500 high-end systems on our Siemens remote services, and we were the first to introduce a number of modalities on the Indian markets, like MRI scanner, CT, PET-CT, or PET-MR. And what you see on the right-hand side on the top, this bubble with those three numbers, 94, 62, 27, those are the years we are present in India in sales, in manufacturing, and in software R&D. Basically, it says 94. That means since 1927, we are selling our equipment in India. The first equipment we sold back then, that was an X-ray modality. Since 62 years, we are manufacturing. So the first plant we set up back in 1959, that was in Mumbai. And since 27 years, we do software R&D for healthcare. So since 1994. To keep it simple, usually I say 90, 60, 30. So those three numbers is our present sales, manufacturing, software R&D. But it also shows that we have a long history in country. Well, and then let's turn the clock a little bit back. March 16th, 2020, I mean, you all know that was when the COVID intensified, the pandemic really started. I mean, you could feel the first incidents already in January, February, and then it was slowly picking up. And then finally, March 16th, 2020, we as an organization decided to change our organization from work from office to work from home. And for us, initially, I mean, the most pressing topic to ensure the business continuity was to address infrastructure-related problems. In three different aspects. One, of course, was to equip employees with the right hardware and software tools to enable them to perform their jobs. So we had to provide access for all our employees to the company network. And for our software engineers, we also had to provide a communication platform offering workspace, chat, video conferencing, file storage, application integration. And what you see on the right-hand side, you can see the tools. So we are using Microsoft Teams as a communication platform usually, and to connect to the network Zscaler. Another problem which we realized quickly, that was that our employees were not really prepared to work from home. So they didn't really have the required infrastructure. And so in order to make their work from home easier and set up their home office, we allowed our employees to purchase specific items, which are shown on the right-hand side as well, in the middle row. So like UPS, like router, monitor, chair, table, and they could get the expense reimbursed up to a certain amount. And in this way, we enabled our employees to have, let's say, at home also the necessary infrastructure. On a lighter note, one of the colleagues to whom I talked, he told me, boss, now I know why it's called a laptop, because I sit at home and have the computer all the time on my lap. And this is also what you can see on the picture in the middle row, where one of our colleagues is sitting on a plastic chair with his laptop on his lap. Also, in order to ensure business continuity, we started to virtualize everything. I mean, initially we thought it would be for a few weeks. Yeah, when we changed to work from home, March 16th, initially we said for 2 weeks, and we expanded for another 2 weeks till mid-April. Then we expanded again till end of May, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, we still work from home even today, and we plan to return step by step to office in February 2022. But with respect to business continuity, this also required that we had to virtualize basically everything: recruitment, onboarding, trainings. We also said, okay, we've usually a lot of fun activities at work, and those we also, celebrations, social activities, everything, we also virtualized. And this is what you can see, the pictures in the bottom row. Left picture is a meeting we had when we had some colleagues onboarding who joined the company. And on the right-hand side, you see how we celebrated the International Yoga Day. We had a session for all our colleagues. And the good thing is, if you virtualize it and you work from home, you can also include in such kind of activities the family, not only the employees, and you get a much, much better bonding. The business continuity, I would say that was really relevant for the transition, and in the new normal, I would say the resilience is more important. And what we did is, for the new normal, we defined as a company globally the so-called Healthineers way of working, which has 5 cornerstones. And the 5 cornerstones is to pick the best place for yourself and for the team performance. Face-to-face goes online, place follows activity, digital user experience anywhere, and health and safe everywhere. Pick the best place for yourself and for the team means that we as an organization trust and empower everyone to choose the best place for the team performance in line with the mutual expectations. So it's really a team sport and the team has to decide. Face-to-face goes online means that we believe that camera on is the default setup for collaboration in online meetings, with consideration, of course, of the required privacy. Place follows activity. We choose activity-based places over assigned standard desks. So it really depends what kind of work you're doing. I mean, there are many activities which you can do from home, but for example, if you have creativity workshops, our recommendation is also nowadays to meet in person, and it really depends on what kind of topic you are working at, whether or not you are working from home or from the office. On the other hand, digital user experience anywhere. So we also provide inspiring digital experience wherever we work, and we are also mindful of topics cybersecurity and data privacy. And we also support a healthy and safe work environment. and enable our employees to take care of their own health and safety, and also support them in topics like wellness programs, or you've seen the yoga initiative. So we have a number of programs also specifically for safety, for health and wellness for the employees. So this is something which is important for ensuring their resilience. But what is more important, and what I would say the biggest challenge, is the change in behavior for the leaders. And if you look at it, the new way of working requires, let's say, on one hand, to focus on outcomes, and on the other hand, also to trust and empower the employees. When we say focus on outcomes, so it's more important to look at the results than the time spent in the office. And if you focus on outcomes, of course, it also means that you have to trust your employees, because, I mean, at the office, you see them, you know exactly what they are doing. When they are at home as a leader, you simply have to believe that they are doing their job, and you have to empower them. That means trust means not only that you simply leave them alone, but that you also show that you care for your employees, that you take time to get to know their individual circumstances, that you have a clear communication regarding the scope of work, milestones, that you establish clear guidelines regarding the respected response time for emails, messages, as well as meeting times. It also requires a different style in terms of management, so that you also become a coach. We'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a minute. That you also give the freedom to the employees to work where they feel most comfortable and productive, as well as the freedom to explore ideas, take risks, smart risk, make mistakes, and of course also that you praise them for things they do rightly, and that you also give constructive support comments in case something goes wrong. So this is what is important in terms of trust and empowerment. And as an organization, the leadership model that we usually use, or the roles of colleagues who have responsibility for people, are fourfold. I mean, typically, when you start working, you're an expert, and you advise others solve problems, and that you will do also in the future once you have the people responsibility. As a manager, you take decisions, remove roadblocks, set expectations, create accountability, make decisions. And as a leader, you engage, inspire the people, provide direction. And what we have newly introduced is the fourth role as a coach. And as a coach, you create autonomy, you enable people problem solving, support self-learning, and you help your people to grow and enable them to find their own way. And that, from my point of view, was an important factor. I mean, incidentally, we came up with the role of the coach as a role of somebody who is responsible for people even before the pandemic, when we wanted to change the culture in our company. And the thing is, what is required is, of course, the respective leadership flexibility, that you adapt your leadership style to the situation and task so that you can jump between the roles. And it also requires leadership learning, so that you have a basic knowledge of all the roles and the willingness to continuously develop your capabilities in the different styles. I myself, for example, I went also for a specific certification. So I underwent the coaching training from the International Coaching Foundation, which is 64 hours, so 8 days of training. And after some time, once you have more than 100 hours of coaching, you can also get a certification. And this is what I'm working on. But from my point of view, this is, let's say, also to ensure the resilience, very, very important that you enable people in roles where you have people responsibility that they are coaching. As an organization, we are Great Place to Work certified, and that also helps because I think we have the right culture. We are one of the top workplaces, top 100 best places to work for in India, and top 25 amongst the multinational companies in Asia. And I think with all these measures, with this focus on outcomes, on trust and empowerment of the people, we took the right measures to ensure resilience and the business continuity also in the new way of working. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Gerd, Hoefner. Indeed, very interesting presentation. Talks about what really happened in the pandemic and what more you did. So that was really interesting. Thank you for your time here at the GCC League. And let's get on to what's coming up next. Well, up next, GCCs in India serving the world with AWS. Want to know more? Well, session starts in no time. Hang around with us.